Is the Colorado Buffaloes being overhyped? Man, that's something we need to talk about. But before we get off into this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you got your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. And if it's your first time coming across the channel and you're new to the platform, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button, post your comments, share the video out, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. I see everybody in the comment section, #salute, and you know what my mantra is. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. Well, we got to talk about something. Is the Colorado Buffaloes being overhyped? But before we get off into the video, this video is sponsored by our new sponsor, SeatGeek.
SeatGeek, the official sponsor of Simply Ball Dropping Podcast, the #1 rated ticketing app, over 28 million downloads, 70,000 plus events from concerts to sports, all your tickets across the web all in one place, rated 1 to 10. Green means good, red means bad, and all your tickets are backed by your buyer's guaranteed. And remember, use my promo code SimplyBallDropping at checkout to get $20 off your purchase.
And just remember, by using my promo code SimplyBallDropping, you're not only getting a good deal, but you're also supporting the channel. So let's get right off into it, man. Over the recent weeks, man, Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes has been in the news heavily. Ever since, they landed some commits and guys from the transfer portal. And what they're basically doing is they're retooling that whole Colorado Buffaloes football team. They brought in some guys to bolster up their offensive line to keep Is Sanders upright. You know what Is Sanders means to the Colorado Buffaloes. That's number 2, the quarterback. He got a high praise from a lot of people, a lot of media personnel. He's rated to be going into the NFL draft next year. He's a top, prospect going into the NFL whenever he declares for the NFL draft. So what they did is they brought in some offensive linemen to keep him upright. We always talk about the big fish in Jordan Seaton, and Jordan Seaton said he vowed to keep, Is Sanders upright, I think Shador's new mantra is DT2, don't touch 2. During the Super Bowl, he had his Gatorade shoot and he customized his bottle and it was DT2, don't touch 2. And also they brought in some guys on the defensive end of the, side of the ball that's going to bolster up that defense outside of what they already had, the likes of their playmakers and Travis Hunter, Shiloh Sanders, Cormani McClain, Roger Silman Craig. Also, they got BJ Green, a excellent linebacker, Samuel Kolu. They got edge rushers. So the defensive side of the ball and what the new defensive coordinator is going to do for them that came from Cincinnati is going to be great. You know what Pat Shermer could bring to the table on the offensive side of the ball as an offensive coordinator, but they just got to put things together. Now, recent news, a lot of people think that Colorado is overhyped. Well, anything that's surrounding Deion Sanders is going to get media attention, and people just got to realize that. I don't think that they're overhyped. When Deion Sanders took over the team in December of 2022, he vowed to, bring his luggage, and it was Louis. He overhauled that roster, and coming off the season they had before, the 1-11 season, he turned it around, 3 extra wins, 4-8. Now they seem that the attention is on Colorado, and a lot of people think that it's overhyped. I don't think it's overhyped. This Colorado team on paper can compete with anybody. They just got to put it together from the new pieces that they picked up in the transfer portal and all the commits. But, ever since Deion Sanders has been in the game, the media attention is going to follow him. I don't think that's hype. That's just the media attention that he draws. We know what Deion Sanders brings to the table. So anywhere Deion Sanders goes to, it's going to be a lot of media attention. But I came across an article, man, from Own 3. Actually, I was listening to, the guy on the podcast, and he was talking about the overhypeness of the Colorado Buffaloes, and he made a great point. Let's take a listen to what the guy from Own 3 said.
Colorado hype, man, it's overrated. There's too much Colorado hype, too much hypotheticals, and not enough results. If they finish 4-8 or 3-9, the media will keep making excuses for Colorado. All right, so there's a lot to unpack here. Now, I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from because for a minute there, that first 3 weeks of the season, everybody and their mama was saying Deion this, Colorado that, Shedeur this. Are they going to make the college football playoff? And I think all of us kind of understood that wasn't probably really on the table for them long term. And if that was a thought after the first 2 weeks of the season, seeing them go back and forth Colorado State, that third week of the season probably gave us a good gauge. I want us to get clear on this, though. We never predicted anything past 4-8 for Colorado.
Me either.
All right, so there are a whole win-loss, which doesn't have a ton of science to it, to be honest. There's a little bit of luck involved in that, but we had Colorado going 4-8 their first season. And to talk about hype for them, Vegas had them, I believe, at 3.5 total wins. So talk about hype over under 3.5. It's not too much to ask for going into their first year. Now it's bumped up a little bit this upcoming season. I think the expectation for them to be successful for most realistic college football fans would be to make a bowl game.
That's
but
correct.
Going back to the thought around, well, there's too much hype, they're getting too much attention, they're overrated. We're not overrating Colorado at all. Now they have a very big if factor because we're going to see what Shedeur Sanders does. We're going to see how that new transfer portal class on the offensive line, if that allows them to elevate a little bit. The Big 12 is shifting in terms of the new members. There is some variance and some question marks for us to, talk about together here for the course of the next couple of months. But I want us to be clear here. We did not overhype Colorado. We feel how we feel about Coach Prime in Colorado.
Exactly.
Ton of impact and influence with every single thing that he does. But they were a 4-8 football team last year, and that was what we had them at in the preseason. Now, I also want to say this, as we always do with Deion Sanders, there is always that factor that they could have a little bit more juice with a positive move.
Spot on.
I think we saw last year in terms of media attention. Yeah, it was attention, and it was stuff that maybe you can't quantify when it comes to winning football games, but that does help attract talent.
Exactly.
Now, has it attracted the level of talent they need to win what they want to win? Not just yet, but don't get it twisted. Deion Sanders having success is more impactful than any other coach in college football for their respective teams. I'll rephrase that. Deion Sanders doing something positive for his team further benefits Colorado than it would if your standard FBS coach has success. Deion Sanders can get more juice out of that.
He's spot on with this.
And the reason people talk about Deion Sanders, it's not to overhype him. It's not to try and pump him up. People talk about Deion Sanders because he's fascinating.
Man, the guy from Own 3, man, he was spot on, man. I totally agree with everything he had to say, man. And it's not the fact that we're overhyping Colorado. It's the attention that Deion Sanders brings to the table. And with the attention that Deion Sanders brings to the table, that wants people like these guys that transferred and committed to want to play for Deion Sanders because of the attention, the media exposure. Now, when you get exposure like that and you're going on the field and performing, you having a better chance of getting looks from these NFL scouts that normally don't really, go out and scout these different programs. Now, Deion Sanders is in the middle of the media spectacle these days. Now, the attention is going to be on Colorado. So if you go out there and you play good, look good, and feel good, and perform like Deion's mantra is, you're going to get seen. You're going to get some exposure. You're going to get exposure from the next level talent, from the scouts saying, hey, this guy up in Boulder, man, we got to go take a look at him. And that's the Deion Sanders primetime effect. And I don't think it's overhyping Colorado. It's when Deion Sanders is involved, it's a lot that comes with that. So a lot of media personnel and a lot of mainstream media and some of the, I call them the haters, they will say that we're overhyping Colorado and Deion Sanders. I don't think it's overhyping them. I mean, this is just what Deion Sanders does to a football program. Now, like I said, with the new additions that he has brought in through the transfer portal and the commits, it's going to be a great season for Colorado. Hopefully, I got them, winning at least 8 games this year. At least 8 games this year. I think they can double their total from last year with the additions that they made. They got stronger in every position that Deion Sanders said we need to get strong in. But these guys got to go out there and perform. They got to put it out on that field. They got to put it on the gridiron. They got to compete every week. Starts in practice, film study. We've heard the situation with Cormani McClain last year, the film study, late to team meetings and things like that kept him off the field. But at the same time, I don't think Colorado is overhyped. It is what it is, man. And I just think, with Deion Sanders involved, everybody gonna think that we're overhyping Colorado and we're praising Deion. That's not the case. This is what Deion Sanders brings to the table, and this is the prime effect. So you guys let me know what y'all think about that down in the comments section. Make sure you like the video, share it out, give the video a thumbs up, and this is gonna wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K. Sapp. We're gonna catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
Another one.